Today I'll show you how to set up a sturdy overhead camera rig that supports even heavier cameras, and without using any counterweights. Actually, you might already have most of the equipment that you need, for example 2 light stands, and these can be any light stands that can take some weight. And secondly, you're going to need 3 of these, and these are called super clamps, or O35s, or Mayfair clamps, like they call in the film sets. The different clamps have minor differences in manufacturing and usability. Dave over at Grip Tips has a great video on Mayfair clamps. Go check that one out. If for some reason you don't have one of these in your arsenal, I strongly recommend getting these babies since they are so crazy versatile and useful to have around. And on top of that, they usually come with the studs, like this one. And speaking of which, we're going to need one of these as well. And the fourth and final thing is a squared metal pole, which can be found in every hardware store or even a scrapyard. And why squared? I'll tell that in a bit. But now, let's build the rig. You ready? In 3, 2, 1, go! First, extend the light stands to the desired height. Next, attach the clamps on top of the light stands. Now, insert the metal pole and secure it with the clamps. Now, attach the stud on the bottom of your camera. Now, insert the camera stud combo through the third clamp and secure it to the metal pole. And we are done. And that only took less than 2 minutes. Here are 5 important points to look out for when buying equipment and setting up the rig. It's good to have 2 identical light stands, since when you extend the same amount of poles, you know that they line up horizontally. When you have the light stands on the same height, it's a lot easier to place the metal pole between the clamps. Make sure that the opening of the camera's clamp is facing down to avoid any unnecessary accidents of falling equipment due to poor tightening of the clamp. The heavier equipment you have on top, the more careful you need to be. So attaching a safety cable is also a good idea. Heavy equipment can also mean that the rig can come side heavy and tip over. We are using sandbags on the light stand's leg spreaders on the opposite side. This lowers the center of gravity of the rig and prevents the rig from tipping over. The reason why the pole should be squared instead of round is that the clamps we are using have an angle that prevents the pole from rolling, which might happen with a round metal tube if secured poorly. You can choose to use the wedge inserts or not if you have them included in the clamps. Just make the same decision in every clamp to achieve the 90-degree angle. If you are alone and have the room to move around, you can have the stands closer to another at the beginning. This helps to place the metal pole inside the clamps. When the pole is secured in one of the clamps, you can move the other further away to the desired distance and repeat the process to the other stand when the other clamp is secured. I got my metal pole in a heavily rusted state, so I sanded most of it off, cleaned the dust, and spray painted it matte black. This gives the pole a much more professional look, and I would never film a client project that costs thousands of euros with a rusty piece of equipment. When shooting with any overhead rig, whether it's a jib, crane, or rigged mirror or a drone, the safety is priority number 1, since the subject is always beneath the gear. Secure the rig firmly and always keep an eye on the attached gear. And what's even better, to have an extra pair of hands next to the gear.
Kaikki ok? Joo, kaikki ok.
What kind of overhead rigs have you used, and did you find this setup helpful? Let me know in the comments below. See you guys and gals in the next video.